work
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I work with children,
Oh.
occupational therapist.
Oh, very
Just
cool.
retired though, so in during that interim, I was using it with kids and everything, and in my personal life, and but that's pretty much what I was doing. And now that I just retired, I'm like, now where do I want to go with this? Because
Yeah.
work was so physical.
Yeah.
I work with kids, small kids, so
Yeah.
running around and twirling them like a baton and everything. So, um, yeah, so I'm like, no, now's the time to really get the EFT going because I love EFT, and
Yeah.
this would be a perfect direction for me to go in as
Yeah,
I.
and it sounds like working with kids to that extent and on that level, what the skills that you have to offer to the field of EFT, with kids and one thing that I noticed is working with adults, I'm finding out what happens when we were kids that affected us later. And wouldn't it be nice if we could sort of avoid a lot of that?
I
And it's
changed
like,
that back then instead of having to go all the way through your life
right.
with all of this
Right.
stuff.
So you
Yeah.
would be able to say like these are the ways that you handle your kids and work with them, and yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, they misbehave, but that's all our judgment. It's like what are
Hmm.
they doing? What are they doing? What are they coping from? How can they be? That would be amazing. You would have so much to offer the world, really. Just in
Yeah.
whatever it is that you do, it has ripple effects. It's not like we have to go out and do something big. You just do your thing
Right. Exactly.
and it
Exactly.
has an effect.
Yeah. I know that from being an OT for. I mean, I've been an OT for well over 25 years,
Wow.
and I do know that. I know the effort that you put forth, to try to affect change, even though it may be a small effort, it does blossom. It does, ripple,
Yeah.
and it does make a difference in the world. Although sometimes it's frustrating because uh, you you don't. I mean, I don't personally see the results of it. And those brief occasions where I do, it's tremendous.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It has been something that I also had to go through, is that I'm not always going to see the effects that it has. And so every once in a while, when you get that proof, it's like,
I know.
thank you
Just
for
like,
letting me know.
yes, yeah, absolutely. Like I'm
Yeah.
an actor too, and I've been performing for years, and it's like that. The feedback you get after you do a show, and I did a one woman show once, and I had someone come back, this older man, this white guy, came backstage and said, "You have changed my
That's
life.
amazing.
Your performance has and I never forgot that.
Yeah.
Just like, you're up there and you're doing your thing, and it's like, is this, I mean, I'm enjoying it to some extent.
Well, it's
But
really kind of funny
yeah,
how it works out that the stuff that we do that we enjoy, and if we're in joy and we're just sharing it, just by being it and doing it and sharing it, it does touch other people.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing is, I mean, I know I used to think that to make a change, like it had to be like I had to know that it was having a big effect, but it's not like that. It's we touch one person and they touch, or two people and they touch two people and they touch two
Mhm.
people, and so on and so forth. And it's this ripple effect of people just coming from a place of joy and centeredness, and exuding it out, and you have to be enjoying it all along or you're not going to have that effect. So it's really this weird thing of like you actually have to be a
Yeah, there has
happy
to be love,
person.
love there. Yeah, there has to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting. Sometimes you have no idea how it affects
you
people.
you
In
won't
what
know,
way? I
and
mean,
you
it's
may never
a
know.
total surprise. Like, oh, that affected you, and that because this happened, and it just
Yeah.
it just be something that you wouldn't even think of.
Yep. And
Yeah.
I believe that there's a place we can get to on an individual basis where we know we're coming from such a place of purity and love and integrity. And we know that being that is having an effect. So we just keep doing it with this confidence that, nope, I know I'm changing the world because I'm doing my thing and it's awesome. And because I know I'm sharing it and I know that I'm coming from that centered and place of intent. For me, I had to make sure I was coming from integrity. I used to have a lot of false humility and trying too hard. I mean, my intentions were there, but it was to get stuff of no, 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 I'm just going to share, and that's how it flows through. And I had to go through a lot of that. And
Yeah.
for me, the certification process helped with a lot of that because I had to do a lot of exchanges with people. So, even if I didn't get certified, I'm so grateful for that process and all of the healing that it gave me. And it
Mm.
helped me to actually discover my where I wanted to take it
Your
and what I
path.
wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't need to know that beforehand. It got
Okay.
uncovered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, because I have some thoughts about, where I want to, but you're right. I mean, the process, it's all about the process
it's the
anyway.
process, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
a really beautiful, interesting, fun process. And I love that the
Cool.
EFT it's a community unlike any that I've ever seen before because I mean, I know that there's other communities of people who help each other, but there's this thing of us constantly working on ourselves and getting huge improvement that it just becomes this community of like, no, I really just want to help you and I'm coming from a good place and let's do an exchange or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. And I have
beautiful.
these skills and I can
Yeah,
offer them to you, and
yeah,
yeah, and it's really great.
yep. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions that I actually have written down? Some of them are going to apply and some are not. What do you think your dream practice would look like? Do you have an idea about that?
Well, I started taking EFT just out of curiosity and interest. I
Mm.
discovered it. I used it and I found that it actually worked. And
Yeah.
coming from the place that I am as a therapist, already in that, of service, um, I thought it would be a good skill for my toolbox,
Yeah.
as a therapist. So now
I'm gonna
I,
type some of your answers.
okay, I'll slow down.
That's okay. I thought it would be a good addition to the toolbox. Yeah.
Toolbox. Yeah, my
Yeah.
toolbox as an OT. Um,
Yep.
so the whole idea of starting a practice is kind of new for me. It's kind of, I mean, the really serious thought about it. I have thought about it, but not like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my
Mm-hmm.
goal now, which is where I'm at right now. My goal is to have a practice. Now, what my thought was is that, well, since I have several ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, since I'm an actor, and the last role that I did, EFT helped me so much because I just found that as I'm getting older, my mind is changing, how I remember things is changing,
Mm.
and how I used to be able to memorize and give a performance completely changed. And
Mm.
just like, why can't I keep this stuff in my head? You know? So I did a lot of tapping. People thought I was nuts backstage because I was just like tapping away and I go off to the side and I would tap, and and if they were curious about what I was doing, I would tell them, but I would just, because it was cool, because actors have a process and we're all weirdos, and so people don't really,
Yeah.
they're she needs to do it to get
Yeah.
on get
Yeah.
her on stage,
Yeah.
so I would just do that. So one idea was to to help people with like stage fright and actors
Right.
and performance, anxiety and things like that, because I had never really had that before until I'd gotten older and I'd get on stage and the lines would just go right out of my head, and I'd have all this anxiety, and I never had that before. So, and it's helped me so much with it. I
Yep.
mean, I would just tap and tap and tap and tap.
Mm.
And sometimes I would run out of things to say, and I just keep tapping because the anxiety was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I would feel a shift.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be any words, it would just be an energy
The
shift.
shift. Yep.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
So, wow, that I didn't even think that would be such a cool. So, what do you think? So, hypothetically, if you were to do EFT and you actually helped people with like stage fright and performance anxiety and even like remembering lines, I can't. That's
Yes.
always baffled me that people remember any lines. And I don't even have a bad memory, but I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I'm always impressed. Um, I like to watch the bloopers on like YouTube because I'm like, yeah, that would be me. Bup, 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 line.
Yeah,
um,
it's all of us
yeah.
till we get
So
it.
if you were to do that, what do you think if you were an EFT practitioner for performance actors, performers? What do you think that would look like? What do you think like a dream client would be? What can you picture that? What do you think?
I think a dream client, it would be someone who, an actor or a
Hmm.
performer or a speaker
Right,
who,
speakers too, right.
hmm who has uh, a career person who wants to, either like me, who is all of a sudden having trouble and needs to learn new ways of, uh, managing stress or
Hmm.
anxiety, or a group. I mean, even like groups, or like come into an acting class and give like a brief seminar, a tapping, and then of course have the availability to anyone who wants to take it further. It's like, I know there's a whole marketing thing that has to happen around it. But my ideal client would just be someone who really needs to learn to tap and
Yeah.
learn and responds to it, and gets results from it.
Yeah.
That would be my ideal client. It's
Perfect.
not complicated. It's just finding that client. For me, this idea of you know offering services and finding that client who needs
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and that may not even know,
Yeah.
that something so simple can help them.
Yeah,
And
and it is interesting that you say there are I'm finding out that there are marketing things that are genuine, the genuine marketing things, where
Mhm.
we actually find out how to reach those people. So
Right.
there's, to me, marketing like techniques that it's like like just
Yeah,
throwing
like,
stuff
who
on
wants
people.
to
It's
do
like, what?
that?
Get
Yeah, I
away. Ugh. No.
don't want to do
There are
that.
genuine
Yeah.
it's more like learning how to communicate so that you're speaking the person's language. And this is why it's helpful to do it in an area that you're familiar with. Because it's like, listen, I know what you're going through, and this is this incredible technique
Yeah,
that would help. And
absolutely.
this is how it helped me.
Yeah.
Um, this is a funny question, or interesting. How do you want to feel at the end of a session with somebody? How do you want to feel at the end of a session?
I want to feel as if I've been of service. I want to feel as if I've helped them, and, and that that I really did do what I set out to do, and help them achieve their goals. Because it's a serving technique. So, the idea is to be of service to someone else and to help them. Like I said, I just recently helped someone with this terrible knee pain.
Yeah,
She
can you
she was
actually can you tell me about that? Like tell me the story
oh,
of
yeah.
that? Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, it's a great story, and it's gotten me here. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
I've gotta use this. I have these skills.
Yeah.
Like, what am I waiting for? Um, yeah, I was at a seminar, I'm a Silva graduate. I don't know if you know what Silva is, but it's a mind.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's your mind. You learn intuition techniques and meditation and things like that.
Cool.
Anyway, I was at a Silva seminar recently, a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, and one of the people there was a older woman who had severe knee pain. She could barely walk. She was walking with canes, and she was just having trouble, arthritic knees. Um, Heavy set woman and wonderful, beautiful human being. Um, which was what I found out from her for when I tapped with her. You know, I found out all these things about this person, and it was that was another part of it that I enjoyed, was that I would not have been able to know this person the way I have if I hadn't helped her the way I did. You know,
Yeah,
so
I get
that
that.
was something for me because I just got to know this wonderful, wonderful
Hmm.
human being. So she was suffering sitting in the classroom, and I said, "Well, I do tapping. Have you ever heard of EFT?" And she said, "Yeah, yeah, I've heard of it." I said, "Well, I've studied with Dawson Church," and she was very impressed with that. And during the break, let's sit down and I'll tap with you. And we did. So we tapped for about. We did 2 sessions. We tapped for about 10 minutes
Hmm.
the first time, and she had pretty good results. She was, moving around. She was saying it feels better. I said, well, before we go to lunch, let's do it again.
Okay.
So we
Great.
sat down and we tapped for about 10 minutes again before lunch.
Hmm.
And then she got up and she started marching around the room, kicking her legs out, going, I have no pain. It's great. It's gone. It's gone. And this
It's
pain has had
amazing.
years. I was just like, know,
It's just amazing.
I was just, and not that I haven't seen it before, but
Yeah.
it's just, I don't think you ever get, I don't think you cannot be impressed by it, no matter how many times you do it. No matter how many times you help somebody like that,
It's like it's like a
it,
miracle.
it's a mini miracle. It really, really is. Uh, and then she went back into the seminar and she started telling everybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was exciting. It
Yeah.
was
Oh, that's
exciting, and it
so
got me
wonderful.
jazzed to keep going. So
Yeah. I want to say, I just want to give you a little bit of feedback about that. What an amazing thing you did. And what you did with like doing one session and then doing it again that was what it took. So I don't know if it was an intuition thing or whatever, but that was really the magical thing. And I feel that what might have happened was the beginning part was just getting her to open up to the possibility. So because a lot of people don't believe that they can be out of pain.
yeah,
So just to have a reduction
a reduction.
for
Yes,
them is like, oh my gosh, you mean this is possible? And then for you to offer it again a little bit later, she was already opened up. So wow, what an amazing thing you did. So very well done. Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah, just very well done. It warms my heart because this stuff is important to me, and it is important to be changing lives, but in a very real way, where they're like, "What? How can I
Yeah,
be out of pain?" But I am, and I'm just gonna
blown
take it.
away. Yeah,
Yeah,
blown away. Yeah, it blew me away
wonderful.
too.
Yeah,
I was just feeling so, because I'm that type of person,
yeah,
just feeling so gratified that I could
yeah,
actually help somebody like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
to really help them relieve the pain.
yeah.
That's huge. It's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
So now when you think about, so let's say you were to go for, let's just say you were to go forward in your certification and you do the whole thing, and now you're thinking about in the future, like either building a practice, or there is this wonderful thing about being retired, or what people consider semi-retired. There
Time.
isn't this necessarily huge push to get tons of clients to make so much money. It's like, no, I just want to do it and have a practice, a
Right.
fun practice.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, wouldn't that be wonderful?
Just to
What a
have a
wonderful,
practice.
yeah, instead of
Yeah.
give me clients, it would be like, no, I have plenty to share. Let's do this.
Right. Yeah. The
Um,
rent's paid. The rent's paid, so I don't have to.
yeah,
I don't have
exactly.
to. Yeah.
What
I
a
don't have to. Yeah.
difference just a
Yeah.
thing like that makes.
Yeah.
So having said all of that, what do you think about having a practice like that would be scary? What would be, yeah, if anything?
What would be scary? Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like as an OT, I've been in so-called private practice, not really private, but self-employed, I would say. I wouldn't say private practice, I would say self-employed.
Mm,
For years.
mm-hmm,
It suits me. I don't like a boss. I don't like people breathing down my neck and telling me what to do and what not to do.
mm-hmm.
I'm an adult. I perfectly wouldn't. I'm educated. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and
Yep.
if I need help, I know how to ask for it. So, I mean, that suits me. So, um, I think the whole idea of it just being a different area, something different that I'll be doing as opposed to what I had been doing for years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Now it really is a private practice, and so you know I know because I'm older that everything comes in stages. I mean, there's you build on where on your experiences and how you want to get there. And I know that if you really have that goal, then you will get assistance and you will intuit, things and everything. I think the scariest thing is just that it's going to be a new venture, a new adventure,
Yep.
new direction, and there's an unknown factor
Sure.
there, and then the hope that I mean, the hope that I can have a private practice and make it work.
Right.
Like how do I make it work? How is it going to work? And
So when you say make it work, what do you think that means to you? What do you think that means?
well, well, when I think of the answer, I just think of a rhythm. I think that like finding a rhythm.
Yeah.
Getting the skills, of course, and getting the practice.
Hmm.
Which I'm a therapist. I had to go through
A lot.
that you know
A lot. Yeah.
uh, yeah, you like internships and all that
Oof.
stuff. And it was torturous and
I bet.
hard. So I know that there's something that you have to go through to get to where you're quote unquote professional, certified.
Yeah.
Um, s- you know. So what was the question? I forgot the question.
No, that was all good.
Yeah.
The actual it was just sort of a continuation of you said the hope that I can have a private practice and that I can make it work.
Oh, the
And
rhythm.
so it's
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
like what makes it work. So the rhythm,
Yeah.
of
A
course,
rhythm.
getting the skills and practice, and then
Yeah. 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 Like finding a rhythm, finding mm, a place of comfort in it. Like it may not be helping actors. It may be. I have several thoughts on it, but
right,
just finding that area that I fit.
right,
Yeah, and then establishing myself as a practitioner,
right.
and then finding a rhythm in working in
Yeah,
that area. So, you know,
yeah, perfect. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Let's say you were, excuse me. Let's say uh, you were working in your area. What do you think foreseeing? Obviously, this is you would have growth and all of that. I understand that. But coming from your current place, thinking about the future, what do you think in your practice would keep you up at night?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. If
Ooh,
anything, and if the answer is
I
not the
think
answer,
things will keep you up at night.
what do
I
you think it would be?
think it would be that I might get a client that is I might feel might be out of beyond my experience, like not sure how what approach, or if I'm making get offering approaches and they're not working, and or I might get a client that's difficult,
Right.
and I may not be, it may not be like I've worked with clients a lot, so
Yeah.
and I know that that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and sometimes it's hard to say, it's just not the right mix, because you're the professional and you know that you should be, this is the job,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do the job, and then but there's all these other factors that go in there.
Yeah.
But still, for me, I would want to be able to be effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that is like, I'm not effective. I just can't get through. I can't make it through. So that would be something that
Right.
that would bother me. And also, it may be just the idea of, again, talking about that rhythm. It may be just getting myself out there, putting myself out there in an effective way. I think that might worry me a little bit.
Yep. Perfect. That totally makes sense. Um, what makes it difficult for you to shut off your mind or to concentrate?
Uh, that's an interesting question. I mean, it just depends on the what's going on. I mean, what it is.
Yeah.
You know, as you know, I learned many techniques of how to meditate and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of know how to do that if I have to.
Good.
But I know what you're saying. I know that there are certain things that get on your mind, or if you're in a situation, uh, a difficult situation, it's hard to shut that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Anything come to mind?
what a particular,
Yeah.
like what? What do you mean?
Anything come to mind that would be a difficult situation that would kind of
Oh, yeah,
start?
yeah, yeah. Well, it's the things that really bother me, if there's huge disagreements,
Mm. Okay.
arguments, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why do you think that bothers you? What do you think it is about that that bothers you? Now I'm getting all
yeah,
psychological. I don't mean to. It's just I'm curious.
yeah. It's all right. I'm open to that. Well, I think that I personally like things to be on
Yeah.
even keel, and I think most people,
Yeah.
not all people, some people like that drama. I save my
Right.
drama for the stage, okay? And
Right.
the, I like the rest of my life I mean, there's a place for everything.
Yeah.
Um, so when there's arguments and disagreements, or things like that, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
You want everything, and the world is not made like that. It's not always going to be, rainbows and roses, you know. But
Yeah.
so yeah, but things usually work out. I mean,
Yeah.
I made it this far,
Yeah. Yeah. And
but
it's
still,
nice.
still,
It is one of the nicer things about getting older is all these tools that we've accumulated. And it's like,
yeah,
yeah, stuff
exactly.
happens, but I've learned.
Yeah, I've
I get
learned
it.
how to manage it, or
Yeah.
to let it go, or to just like do what needs to be done
Yeah.
to make it happen. Like, I'm not, even though I'm a really easygoing person,
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to be confrontational.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to confront somebody,
Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to be as truthful as I can about my feelings when
Yeah.
these things come up. So I tend to meet things straightforward.
Yeah.
Not that it still isn't upsetting, but I go at it.
Yeah.
I don't run away from it. I go right at it, and I put it to where the best I can put it where it should be.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, well, I've done I've done the best I can with it. There wasn't a disagreement. I've tried to clear the air. There's nothing else I can do,
Yep. You did your
and
part.
you gotta just leave it.
Yeah. That sounds great. And
Yeah.
that's probably something that I have a feeling that a lot of people haven't learned those skills, and that is something you can offer the world. So
Yes.
like as you're doing a session and just offering little tips and tricks of for somebody to handle things in a new and different way, you know. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody has that ability to confront and then get to a point of like, okay, now this is where I
Yeah,
let
this
it
is I have to
go.
leave it because it's not. I've
Yeah.
done all I can with it, and just like leave it. I say put in God's hands. Put it in
Yeah.
spirit. Send it to the universe.
Yeah. And I also
Not,
like that you said I like to save the drama for the stage. That's like actually even though I've never been in like in the acting field, that actually resonates with me. I like to save the drama for the stage. Like no, not in my real life. I want it's a game that somebody's
right.
playing the
Mm-hmm.
drama because it
Yeah.
is a game that they're playing. It might be a coping mechanism, survival level game, but
Yes.
it's still a game and
Still
there
a
are other ways, yeah.
yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Is there any time that you tried to do EFT with somebody and it didn't work? It didn't go well?
Oh yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Eh,
Well, working with kids sometimes, oh,
yeah, it's
it's
interesting with
tricky.
kids.
I think it's working with children is a whole different skill set
Yeah.
that unfortunately now I'm retired, but in the aspect of doing EFT with kids. But I mean, I a lot of times was successful, but a lot of times it was because there's so many other factors involved. There's so many other things involved. One of them being the parents and their influence over their children.
Right.
And sometimes it's really hard to to break through because of their energy in the child's life.
Yep.
And even though they may want to affect change, they have to hang on to these um, behaviors because sometimes that's what is expected of them,
Yeah.
and it's weird,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they'll say, "I want to let this go," and then and on the other hand they'll say, well, my mom, she, so it's kind of a battle, and
Yeah,
it's
I've heard it too.
yeah,
It's yeah,
but
that is a challenging thing.
it really is, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
surprising, but I found that it worked better with I also I mostly work with elementary school kids, but I have worked with school age kids, or all
Mhm.
age, up through
Mhm.
high school.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it worked better. I have had good success with like middle school and high schoolers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mostly around anxiety because I'm already working with kids who have special needs,
Yep.
and a lot of it is anxiety. They
Yeah,
have a
it's
lot of anxiety.
shocking and really a little upsetting to me to see the level of anxiety in kids about grades and projects and their future. And
Confidence.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you're 14 and you're worried about
Yes.
this one essay determining your entire future.
Hmm.
Talk about taking the fun out of it.
There's a great deal of anxiety, and uh, some kids just would just lap it up. Can we tap now, Miss Jody? Let's tap. Let's tap.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then some kids just think it's so strange. They're at that age where it's such a strange thing that Miss Jody's having them do
yeah,
that they can't get their mind around it. They don't want to, it's
yeah.
not cool. Even though nobody's watching them, nobody's looking at them.
I
It's just me and them.
Yeah, I find it very funny that some kids find things weird. It's like, aren't you at an age where sort of everything is new?
Yeah, it
Like,
should,
why are you already picking something to
but
be
it's weird.
weird
So do
compared to
it
what?
anyway.
Right.
I tell them that it's weird. I'm gonna have you do something that's very strange, but I want you to try it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
kind of work my way into their minds, and
Yeah.
usually
I
once they do it, they like it.
I I try to sometimes just say to somebody, I skip over the weird part, so I don't even plant that seed, and I go right into I want to try something with you. Do this and repeat after me, and I just tell them what to do, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
and let's see what
Right.
happens,
Yes,
and they're
yes, yes.
like,
Yeah.
okay, and they tap and they do it. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
Hmm.
And I'm like, now
Yeah.
say this, even though blah, blah, blah. And they say it, and I go like this, and I go like this. And I'm like, all right, so what was that like? And they're like, well, I feel a little better. I'm like, good, let's do it again. And it's
Uh-huh.
sort of
I get
a,
it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I skip over the whole, I don't even want to
Whole weird.
plant the seed of the weird thing because I've been into weird stuff my whole life. And it's like, you know what? I don't want to make it weird. Just do what I'm telling you to do. I just kind
Don't
of
make it
accept.
weirder than it already
Yeah,
is.
it's already weird. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
If you could wave a magic wand, what's one thing you wish you could avoid, stop, or change?
Me personally,
Yeah.
uh, prejudice and racism.
Tell me about it. Yes. Anything else?
Uh, I would change. How do I say this? People's ability to open up and have a greater understanding of, or a greater curiosity about how the universe works,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
how things are, like explore and get rid of preconceived kind of, no, open up to uh, the magic in life.
Yeah. Well said. Open up to
Yeah,
the magic in life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, as we do that and be happy with it and make it not weird.
Yeah, not people not be so closed down about
Yeah.
so many things. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah, so many things. Yeah, and
just stop it and just like
yeah, it that's a
just stop.
closing in. It makes you feel crappy. So open it
Yeah.
up. There's
But
so
yeah,
many interesting things
are
that
you like you're mean? Are you happy now? Did that make you feel better? To just what are you doing?
right. You're
Have,
right. You're right. You're right. Okay, go back to your TV.
yes, just there.
Your TV world. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything about what do you think it would be frustrating for an EFT practitioner? For
Would be
you or
frustrating.
for what do you think for others would be frustrating? Some of this might be repeating, so
Yeah.
or difficult.
Um,
We kind of already you
yeah,
already answered
we
that
covered
kind
a
of.
lot of it. I'm trying to think of a different
Or,
tack.
or maybe another way is what would you like to make easier about, let's say, a practice? What do you anticipate you would like to make
What would you like to
easier?
make? Well, I'd like to make it easier. I don't know because I haven't really had EFT
Yeah.
practice. So
What do you think other practitioners complain about? Or if you've ever heard anybody complain about what do you think might be a challenge for others who are already in an EFT practice?
I probably people not following through with what they've uh, learned.
Right.
No, not following up. Uh, Being too dependent on the practitioner.
Yep.
I think that would be because I find that I have done that myself. You go and you do something, you learn something to help yourself, and then you don't follow through with it
Right.
for whatever reason,
Yeah.
um, or in a timely manner,
Mm-hmm.
or just procrastination. It's like that sort of thing.
Yep.
So it's following up and taking a true interest in their own healing.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. What have you done so far to work towards EFT? You did a level one and a
I
level two with the
want
Dawson
to.
Church, right?
Yes, yeah.
And anything else? Did you buy any additional books?
I bought some books. Yeah, and
Do you know what you bought?
I bought the weight loss book.
Yep, the tapping solution one.
Yeah,
Yep,
tapping solution. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna get a cup of tea.
yep.
The tea. And I bought but I haven't even looked at it yet. I bought the one about I think um money. I don't know what it was though.
The tapping solution money one.
Here it is. Carol Look's book.
Oh, Carol Look. Yeah,
This one.
yeah. Carol Look studied with Gary Craig and is considered one of the master EFT practitioners because she completed the Gary Craig level
Uh huh.
stuff. So yeah, she does a lot of money. I did a live one with her group, a group in
Yep.
New York City at the same place where we went to Dawson
Oh, at
Church.
the Open Center. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And
Um,
anything else?
And I just bought these two books, I think, and then I have the work, the books from
The
the
right,
the coursework.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yep, awesome. Yeah, I'm wondering how I can be of assistance with our community using the skills that I've had. I've had lots of training and working in certain professions where we already learn ethics and things like that,
Right.
where
Mhm.
not that doesn't all come natural for some people, especially in a professional setting. So I'm looking to find how I can help the community. People going through certification have their mentor. They're working with whoever
Right.
and learning all of that. So I'm just trying to figure out ways of how I can help with some of these things. Whether it's like a membership site where we're discussing that and working out, just supporting each other, or providing courses in particular areas. Some of it might even be branching out, like how do you follow your intuition? Is it intuition or is it training? Things like that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
how does that sound to you?
Not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about ethics, first off, so that is something that I have since I've, been a profession in the health professions. I mean, there's a huge ethical learning curve that
yeah,
we take through the years, and I think it is important. It's so ingrained in me. So even like
yeah,
telling my story about that the woman that I helped, I know where to bring it in.
yep.
you know, I just do it without even thinking.
Automatically, yeah. So that would
Yeah,
be
it's just
something you'd be
automatic.
good at. The other thing I'm also wondering if it would be of assistance to the EFT community is to actually help with building the community. Because one thing I've noticed is that we really help each other a lot, in the form of whether we're doing exchanges with each other, where we actually also learn each other's techniques.
Yes.
Group calls are very helpful
Yeah.
so that we can learn from each other. And everybody's at a different level. So some people aren't going to be very good at it. Other people are going to be extremely good at it. And then as we're doing it as a group, but figuring out if there's a way that would actually be helpful
Yeah,
to
I
bring a
think
community
so.
together.
I mean, this exchange right now is very helpful for me because
Yeah.
I'm grateful because I took the courses and then I stopped. I mean, I did
Yeah.
EFT, but and then it's interesting that like I saw your post and I was like, this is perfect. I really need to reach out because I want to grow as an EFT practitioner, and
Right.
so it was kind of like you never know,
Yeah.
like it was perfect for me because it's something that's going to propel me to keep going.
Yeah.
and
So
and
let's stay in touch
support
because
it's supportive to me, so
yeah.
I really think it's great. I
Yeah.
think it's a great idea. I think a lot of people don't realize that the there are a lot of people out there just willing to help, and it's just a matter of, and I'm finding this out personally, it's just a matter of uh, reaching out,
Yeah.
and the help is going to be there.
Yeah.
So it just
Yeah, I like to reach out and I like to help and I'm wondering how I can do that. And specifically with the
yeah.
EFT community, just because I find it to be such a there are other things I do. I'm a Course in Miracles student and teacher, Infinite Way, like really like to me very very highly spiritual stuff. And EFT to me fits in with that so perfectly because to get to those levels we need to get rid of the crap that has been there, and it's just such a like you literally can just tap it away and it's so powerful and it's like yeah, this is my leaving my mark on the world. It no long for me it no longer needs to be this famous published author or get my name out there. It's no longer about that. It's like, how can I help you? And if it's just chatting like this, great. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
other people, I'll actually do tapping exchanges with them. I still
Mhm.
have people that I exchange with, or helping other people, connecting them in a way where they can practice on each other. And then there are people who, you know, th- like I have my mentors. You have to you register with one of the
Yeah,
mentors.
yeah, that's my next step.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
amazing process, and you learn a lot from them. And they do make themselves available for more one-on-one things. So they have additional workshops and courses and trainings and things like that for people who are really interested in just getting better and better and better. And
Yeah.
it's at all different price levels. You can do real big free I love free things.
Who done?
And I want to be able to offer free things and then very low cost things, and then as you work your way up, and it depends on where you are in building your practice, because even for me it's like I had to start with free things and cheap things, and then as I've grown it's like as I move to the next level it becomes more comfortable, like oh yes, I can take that weekend course that costs a little bit of money. um, or connecting people with the people, like the business coaches. Like I work with a business coach. Now I exchange with her, but it's been so helpful to find where do I fit in? Like you were saying before, like who am I really going to be able to help?
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? So just
Yeah.
looking to build a community where we can continue helping each other do that.
Right. Right. Yeah. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that idea. Yeah, because you know it's it's needed, and you never know where it's going to take
You
you.
never know. Yeah.
No, and it's it's good all around. I
Yeah.
mean, you will gain, and everyone else will
Yeah.
gain. So
And I
it's
feel
kind
like
of
it's
a win.
important with EFT being so new, we really need to be on the same page with this stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody doing their own style, but we need to really to be effective in using this and making it very real for the world. I mean, it's very possible that this could become a very normal thing to be used for the vets, for the prisoners, for the
Yeah.
addicted, for the kids, for the parents, you
Yes.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what we do now is going to affect that. So
Yeah.
how can we do that? And so I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So I think I sent you the link for the EFT universe, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but there's also Amit, which is another. I can give you the link for it. It's the other. I call it the other place where you get certified. And I know that my mentors that I've been working with through EFT Universe are moving more towards that. So
Really?
I don't yet know who I'm going to stay with. So I did give you the EFT Universe one,
Yeah, I got
but
that.
you want to take a look at this one too. I will send you the link.
Okay, pop it over to me.
Yep, and I'll send it onto the Facebook Messenger so you have them in the same place. Um,
Okay, yeah, I got it.
yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but they seem to be an international company and they're a nonprofit. Like, I think it's all volunteer. Their fees are fairly low. Um, the process of doing certification, my personal opinion is that it's not terribly expensive. They do break it up, so you pay sort of as you go. There's like everything's a fee. Here's a small fee for application, small fee for this, small fee for registering. Rather than spending $3,000, you get to break it up. So everything is a little bit of a fee. You do have to register with the mentors. I personally didn't think it was very expensive for what you get. You
Okay.
know, they put a
Yeah.
lot into it for, and I think I paid them like $400, and I've been working with them for over a year. And
Oh.
it included group calls and, just going through when you do a session, you write up the notes. They're very simple. I mean, once I got over my emotional stuff about it and I tapped that away, it's almost embarrassing how simple they are.
Okay.
But they just
So
want to make
is
sure that
that
you're doing it.
those are the notes? Well, yeah. I mean, and it's good to be able to document.
Yeah,
Especially if you have a lot of clients, and it helps you keep track of
that's right.
their progress.
Yeah, I think it's mostly they're wondering, do you know what technique to use and what's the name of it and why you're using that particular technique. So
Right.
that seems to be the focus of the training. It's still very basic EFT, and very often you just use it and you write down, just use basic EFT.
Right.
And
Uh-huh.
why did you use that? Well, we just needed to get the suds down, and here was the specific event. So it's just very, very simple. Um, so my recommendation to you is before you actually choose which company, do plenty of research to find out, who you might want to, as you go through EFT Universe and go through Amet, you might want to look at who their mentors are, and that might be the determining factor for you, like who you're going to end up working with and which company they're with, because you're going to be with them for a while. You can change your mentors. You can finish with them and then choose a different one. And they're all like, yeah, whoever you want to work with, I'm here to help. And if it's not with me, that's fine. Go find somebody you
Okay.
resonate with.
That,
So there's different ones. So yeah, give it a little bit of time before you decide, and you and I can stay in touch, and I just want to help in whatever way I
that
can.
would be great. I'd appreciate
Oh
that.
yeah.
Because, well, okay, so my question.
Mhm.
So we've done the work with EFT Universe.
Mhm.
So now you're saying that I can get certified through this other that you popped over to me. I haven't looked at it yet.
Right.
I can still continue with them if I want to.
Yep, you would yeah, you're required to take level 1 and level 2, which you did.
I did.
And I right. And I think that it doesn't matter to anybody who you take those with, as long as they're registered, an official
I,
level 1 and level 2,
okay.
which normally they are, um, which
Okay.
ours definitely is.
Definitely
And
was. Yeah.
so yeah, that's just sort of your real basic. Take the level 1 and level 2, and then so you would then uh, register, I guess, with like Amet. You would
Mhm.
do their application, which I think is only like £15. They're in England, so
Mhm.
whatever the conversion rate is, it's not a lot of money, but it
Uh-huh.
begins you on your process
Okay.
towards certification. And at some point, you would pick a mentor. Uh, right. And then I know and so AMET has different requirements than EFT Universe. I was required to take a second level 2 with a different practitioner. So it just meant I did a 2-day level 2, and it was awesome to get that additional training. Like I
Yeah.
want to do it again. Like they're
Yeah.
so
Too.
wonderful. Yeah.
I know.
And
I know.
like I really want to teach them. Like that's what I want to work towards because it's just so
Uh-huh.
fun and I'm able to speak in front of groups,
Oh yeah.
like that works
Yeah,
for
you're
me.
wonderful at it. You have a great presence.
I love it. And so I want to be able to share that. So I'm just sort of glancing through this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can also look through it and just going through my own frustrations with my own registering process. I just want to
Yeah.
help people. Like there's no reason for that. So if I can help you figure it out, use me. I'm
So
open
how
and
long did
available.
it take you to, once you began the process of s- after the coursework, the certification, how long did that take you?
Well, let's see. If I did the level 1 and level 2, that was March of 2015, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
2 years ago. I know. Gotta get going.
That was 2 years ago. I mean, I kind of hate to say that, but it's the truth. That's how long it took.
That's how long.
It doesn't have to take that long, but I like to be thorough. And I was willing to work. Well, there's another factor. I may not have gotten my mentors right after that because I ended up um, EFT was really life changing for me. And I ended up leaving a career, moved out of New York, moved up to Vermont, and then 6 weeks later moved a little bit south to Western Mass, where my family lives, where I now live. So I uprooted everything. I
Wow.
gave up everything, which in the end I gave up nothing. I I
You
gave up all of
gained.
my burdens.
Yeah, you gained something.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and so now I have a whole new life. So for me, it's just and
Hmm.
because of that, I didn't really have enough money to get things done quicker, so it kind of dragged it out a little bit longer.
Right.
Um, so it doesn't have to take 2 years, but what if it does? It's been an incredible healing 2-year journey
Yes. Yeah.
where I have this incredible foundation and basis, and I worked with a lot of other practitioners. I received a lot of sessions, which I don't think everybody does. I think they try to get certified, but I was like, I will exchange with anybody who's willing to tap.
Right.
And I
Right.
learned a lot from them because a lot of people are good, but there are people who are not good at all, where I actually won't. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, wow, that's not how you do it.
Oh.
Yeah, just they don't
Yes.
understand boundaries and they don't know to not tell people what to do. Like, you want to pull the experience
Yeah,
out
you
of the
want to make
person.
them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Why make it complicated when it's, I find so easy. Just okay, what are you going to say now? You say something. That's what
Yeah.
how I usually go.
Yeah.
I encourage them to bring out the words. I just get them started.
Yeah.
And then I let them fill in the blank. Sometimes I'll say a sentence like, oh, and then I felt, and then I let them,
See,
and
this
I
is the
let them
sort of
go
thing.
for it.
Maybe one day you'd be willing with me, Jody, to do like a you and I chat and we record it where we talk about this. Like, what do you do next? How do you, so the person says this, then what, And it would be so helpful to others. Like, this is how you do it. I mean, this might be a year or two from now, but
Yeah, yeah, no, I
but
love that.
this type of thing,
Yeah,
because you have your incredible experience with OT and acting too. It all applies. And having this experience, it's like being able to help the community this way. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's just like anything else in life, like some people don't understand. It's funny, I the last time I went to these things at Silva, I do a lot of Silva stuff.
Hmm.
The last time I went to a Silva, that was a couple of years ago. I was in pain.
Mm,
It was actually I did no tapping at the time. I don't think I had taken the level 1 and level 2 at the time, but I was tapping, and no amount of tapping could help me.
mm,
I have like what is labeled as like chronic Lyme.
mm,
Oh, that's the label. Um, and sometimes I get these flares. It
mm-hmm,
flares up, and I'm in a lot of pain. Okay, so it goes away after,
mm,
but while I'm in the flare, it's excruciating.
mm-hmm,
And so here I am at this place, and I'm like crippled.
mm,
And talk about boundaries. There was this one of the a young man in the course who was just. He said, "Well, I forgot what technique what he was into. Something I forgot what it was.
mm-hmm,
I wasn't a lot of pain at the time, so I don't really remember. It
mm-hmm,
didn't work anyway,
mm,
so I wouldn't remember it. But the thing was, it just made me remember because of boundaries. Like he didn't let me know what to expect
mm,
from his technique.
mm.
And here I am sitting, I mean, literally trying to put on a brave face, and make it through the weekend
Right.
because of, the whole pain factor. And he kept touching me.
Mm.
And and he didn't say, I'm going to touch you.
Oh my
I will
gosh.
be touching you.
Wow.
He didn't ask me if it was okay for him to touch me, you
Yeah.
know. And he kept touching me.
Yeah.
And when he didn't get the response from me that he wanted, he was a little bit curt and short. Like,
Wow.
why aren't you
Wow.
responding
What a
to
model example of how not to do a
oh,
session.
please don't do it.
Holy cow.
And
That's amazing.
then he said, well, we'll continue this session um, another time. And then he completely ignored me for the rest.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Not that I would have gone back, but he should have gotten back to me because he was the one that was offering, he was
Yeah. Right.
offering the help, and he just like, I can't help her. She's
Yeah.
not responding. She's not like a robot. She's not behaving the way, I expect her to behave, and,
Yep.
and doing what, is supposed to, like, written down in a book. And, he wasn't exploring like how to approach me with his technique. He was
Right.
just expected something from me that I don't know what it was. So anyway, I mean, it was just the whole idea of like, please, what not to do.
Yeah, and it's I think it's really important that to me it's really important that it's expressed somehow to the community. So the EFT community, like this is how not to do it, and here's why.
Yeah, yeah.
There's triggering. There's
Oh my
I'm
God.
in pain. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. And then when you try to help me, don't you leave me out there. Just like
Yeah,
go.
and the expectations is really that's an important thing. Like, look, I have no problem saying to people, I don't know what this is going to do. I know what I want it to do, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Everybody has their own healing process.
Responds
But
differently.
if you're
Yeah.
willing to see, are you willing to see? Are you willing to at least do this with me and see what happens? And they're usually like, yeah, sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll even tap and I'll even be going through the standard and I'll even throw
Right.
in a little like, I know this is weird, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't know if it'll help, but I'll do it anyway because it just kind of eases that up like, yes, I'm speaking the truth. Nick Ortner says that. He calls it truth tapping. Let's speak the truth. I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know if it will help. And it is a little weird. There, I said it.
Okay. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I don't know. I mean, if you, because I've done that. I've done tapping with people, and I had no response. I've done tapping with myself, especially around this whole Lyme thing.
Yeah,
It's. I have other things that help me.
yeah,
They do that
yeah.
helps me more
Hmm.
than tapping.
Yeah.
You know,
I have done a few. I've worked in the holistic profession. I did Chinese medicine. For me, it was a bodywork therapy. I did muscle testing for nutrition, where you find the toxicities and using
yeah,
standard process supplements to
right. Mm-hmm.
detox, and then also very specifically feed the particular organs. And that's been very helpful too.
Yeah.
There was never one thing that fixed everything.
One thing is not gonna is
That's
not
not
gonna.
how holistic health works.
No, no, it absolutely not.
Try 10 different things, know
Right,
what they are,
right.
be specific about it. You can do them
No,
one at a
of course.
time,
Yeah.
but find
Right,
out what works and stay
right,
with it, and then find something else that works and stay
right,
with it. And then before you know it, you've got like your little arsenal. And some of
right.
it's emotional, some of it's strictly physical, some of it is the toxins from this, oh
So
my God,
yeah,
this poor
yeah.
planet.
Cleanse. Yeah, you have to cleanse, and you have to,
Yeah,
and it's a combination of
yeah,
things. Like for me, when I have a flare, I like dose up on garlic.
yeah.
I garlic is saves me. Now
Yes.
I lose friends, but I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I will just like garlic, 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 garlic. And for some reason or other, the whatever that is, the whatever
Yeah.
the bacteria or the organisms that are in there,
Yeah.
they don't like garlic.
Yeah, there's when I was doing the nutrition, the garlic was used in it for the parasites that would show up.
Parasites is good for parasites.
Yeah, they don't like the
Absolutely.
garlic, so the garlic is the
Like garlic.
drainage for that. And so
Give it to
yeah,
animals too if they have because they get a lot of worms and parasites,
yeah,
or creatures,
yeah.
cat or dog, and it's really good for
Yeah, there is no one thing that fixes everything, and then nothing is meant to work that way. We're
that.
very complex beings. And then there's the whole spiritual, which, as you know, there's the whole spiritual element. And
Yeah,
depending on where somebody is in their spiritual growth is going to have a huge
yeah,
impact, you know.
yeah.
There,
But I
there, there is something that we are that is very important for us to do if we're an EFT practitioner, is to have that initial talk with somebody and find out where they are and like, how what's the likelihood that this is going to help you? Because if somebody is like got no spirituality, don't want to change their food, they only eat crap, and they're like, I don't even believe what you're doing, and but show me anyway, and it's like, I'm not so sure this is really a good fit.
well, I feel that if the person is willing, even though they're skeptical, because I feel that EFT will work. Because the first time I got results from it,
Hmm.
I was skeptical because it was totally new to me. And
Yeah.
even though I am and always was an explorer and always have been open to whatever works.
Yeah.
It can be the strangest thing. I don't care because I never really, as a child, I had like a heart murmur.
Hmm.
I learned early that I did not like the doctors. I did not like the medical profession. I didn't think that they were very healing or caring.
Yeah.
The doctors, the nurses were fine,
Hmm.
the support. But the doctors themselves were, I felt, and I know there's some good doctors out there, but there's not very many.
Yeah.
And I have not had very good experiences with doctors, and was, I've tapped it away since, but I was
Hmm.
very traumatized by how I
Yeah.
was treated as a child by them. I My blood pressure, when I went to a doctor, if I just went for like a regular checkup, my blood pressure would go way up. My
Hmm.
heart would start pounding. I would have like almost an anxiety attack around just being in a doctor's office from how I was treated as a child.
Hmm.
It's just all this scary shit and all these serious faces and no communication. It was embarrassing
It's
because
traumatizing.
chest, I would
Yeah.
see naked when all these
Oh my
Men
God.
standing around me with, with my shirt off, and it was just they never thought of it, like that.
Yeah.
Checking my chest, and I'm like topless, and
Yeah.
oh, and because they're doctors, it's supposed to be cool, but nobody told me
It's
about
not
it.
cool. It's not cool.
No one
Yeah.
said it to me.
Yeah, that's
So
traumatizing.
it
That's
was
traumatizing.
very traumatizing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and our being has no choice but to develop a survival level coping mechanism.
yeah,
And this is what
yeah,
happens to us. It's just a survival thing.
yeah.
That's another thing that was really helpful to me, is going through the training and the certification, is we had to learn, which you may already be aware of, but how the trauma happens, but we
Mhm.
learn it in a way that how do you use the EFT for what happens with trauma. So situations like that, it's like, well, how do you use the EFT with that specifically so that it's very safe for the client, the EFT
Who's been
client.
who's
So
been traumatized? Yeah,
yeah.
because you
Eh,
don't want to trigger it and make it worse. I mean, I have
no.
I have done that with a young a student, a kid in school.
Yeah.
He was so sensitive, and he was so, and I kept, how you go through the negative part first. Well, he
Yeah.
was not having that at all. I kicked
Yeah.
the shit out
Yeah,
of him. He got almost left the
you
room.
learn how to use
Yeah.
the really gentle techniques, which
So
I
there's,
needed,
so,
and I didn't even have abuse. I just had, my mother was a bit of a yeller, but because I'm so sensitive, even when she wasn't yelling at me, just was like
the
I
attitude,
want,
yeah,
oh
look,
my gosh. And it took many gentle
yes.
sessions for me to be able to work on
Hmm.
what one particular session that was, I was like, wow, that traumatized me, and she wasn't even yelling at me. Like, how is that possible? So yeah, it was, we had to
Yeah.
do some really gentle things where I wasn't getting triggered. And it's a beautiful thing to observe, to just help somebody feel more and more comfortable, more and more comfortable, more and more comfortable, and safe, and safe, and
Safe.
safe, and
Yes.
safe.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then they're like, you know what? I think I feel safe enough to work on that. Can we try? And it's like, sure, we can
Right.
still go in gently.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And you learn how to do all that through the
Yeah.
certification. It's beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the time, spending this time with
Thank you.
me. And let's I would love to chat again. I'm a little bit curious about chronic pain issues, and I'm actually curious about EFT and that. And I appreciate your honesty that it wasn't the most effective. And so maybe at some time we'll chat about that, because I'm just wondering, like, what is going on
Yeah, I
with
do too.
that.
Because in other areas, I can help. In other areas around pain
Yeah.
that I may be suffering at, I could stub my toe or my
Yeah.
back, or whatever. Um, it's been very effective. In fact, that's what got me into it. I had a very, very severe, the worst sore throat I could ever have had. I never had it. I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I had a cold, but my throat was just like a cheese grater through my. It was really, really, really sore.
Wow.
Really sore. And I just learned about EFT.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if that can help this, then I'm in. And
Yeah.
I tapped on it. Just a newbie. I didn't know what I was doing. I just from what I learned, I tapped, I tapped and tapped and tapped. And it literally went from like a suds of a 25
Yeah.
to like a 3, a 2.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And I was like, I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
EFT now. I am all
Yeah.
about it because it was, and as stupid me, I didn't think, well, I can tap away the rest of my cold symptoms. I was so grateful that my throat was not
I
hurting.
know. I
It was
know.
like, I'll just have the cold now, and
Yeah.
I'll just have the cold. I've had colds
I
before,
know. Isn't that funny?
It's,
It's amazing. We don't just want to. We don't just say, yes, I could be
I
healed
can
of
do everything. I just
everything. Yeah.
keep going. Yeah, I know. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll
I know.
suffer. Oh, I can suffer comfortably.
Right. I'm still going through it. I still have my process. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, great. Let's stay in touch, and
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank
It
you.
was such a
I
pleasure
appreciate it.
chatting with you.
Yeah, same here.
All right. All right,
Bye.
take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.